to the Rockies and BC shores.
Douglas, happy Canada Day, my friend. I am so glad that you and I are getting a chance to speak, because if there's anybody who really represents the red and white and maple leaf, it's you, my friend. When I saw your picture and your enthusiasm for Canada and everything else, it completely blew my mind. So I figured that if there's anybody that I want to speak with in celebrating our nation's birthday, it's you, my friend. How are you doing this Canada Day?
Oh, excellent. There is a rumor that I have a love of Canada.
Rumor. Oh, like I said,
a rumor, yeah.
All people have to do is just see your picture and hear your music and they know it. Look, what is it about, your love of Canada? Where does that all come from? I mean, I can understand that. I've lived my whole life here, but I want to hear it from you, though.
Well, you see, I'm an immigrant to this country. I was originally born in Scotland, and we emigrated to Canada when I was 6 years old. And I have so many fond memories of coming to this country, even as a little boy. And we were welcomed with open arms. And, I mean, my uncle was already living in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. But, our whole family has, flourished here in Canada. We're all working. We're all participating. And I even joined the Canadian Forces. I was in the forces for 20 years. And when you travel around the world as a soldier, and you hear the comments and the love for Canadians around the world, you really have to stand back and go, oh my gosh, we do have everything here.
We definitely do. But, these days right now, it seems like this melting pot is kind of in some ways being challenged. What do you think about that? And because to me, our melting pot is what makes Canada great.
This is one of the reasons that makes Canada unique, because people like my parents who came over with, less than $200 in their pocket, and there's many, many other stories of other people coming from other countries, because it gives an opportunity, and people love what Canada stands for. I mean, I could go on for quite a length on all the benefits that Canada has, but the melting pot is growing, yes, but, we're still attracting great people from all parts of the world.
And we definitely are. But, it's not just love of Canada for you, my friend. It's also the love of music. How did that come about?
Well, in Scotland, there's a lot of folks that have a love for music. There's so many songs written about Scotland and Ireland and places around the world. When we came to Canada, it was like, all right, my mother had an interest in music, and even my great-grandmother was a piano player. So I guess music's been in the family a long, long time. But, I learned to play the accordion when I was much younger, but who likes to practice, And as I got older, I decided to, pick up a guitar, and that was only 8 years ago. Wow. So I've always written poetry for years to my wife and other people, and then I find out that poetry is very involved with music.
But, you mentioned about, I think, one of the most interesting instruments of all time, the accordion. I can remember, because you and I are probably around the same age. I can remember back in the day, especially because living in Toronto, watching Hamilton's Tiny Talent Time. And there was a show that had kids. Almost every show had somebody playing the accordion. If you looked in catalogs from stores that we used to get, they sold accordions. Accordions were part of life back in the day. You don't see much of that now. But
oh no, well the instrument has become very expensive. Years ago,
but you've kept that. You've kept that alive, though.
Yes, yeah. There's not many people playing the accordion anymore. It's surprising when I do bring it out every once in a while, and people love to hear a tune here and there. But and there's so many amazing musicians and singers and musicians in Canada. I mean, I'm marveled at how many great talented people are in this country.
How many times do you get a chance to get out there and perform? Because you have your own little group and everything else too, correct?
Well, I do, but I've only been learning the guitar for 8 years, and what I did is, because I started later in life, I decided to practice about 20 hours a week for 3 years. And I went to the local legions. I participated in the open mics and the jams. And as I got better and more interested in learning more, I ventured out. And now I do anywhere from 3 to 5 open mics or jams a week if I'm not performing at a gig in a senior home. But that's all on hold right now because of the COVID, of course.
Of course. But the thing is, though, what's the actual name that you have? And I want to make sure if I have it correct. Is it the Canadian Troubadour? Do I have that correct?
That is my stage name, Canadian Troubadour.
Incredible. And for folks who are just listening to this and they don't really get a chance to see the visual, but they will once they look at what's happening here. Can you describe your outfit, please?
My outfit?
Yes.
Well,
it's incredible.
Well, what I decided to do is if you're going to be a front man, and which I love to be front and center, and I'm not shy in any size audience, but you need to be memorable. And I wanted to create an image that nobody would forget. And it was really, when you see somebody on stage that's in jeans and a T-shirt and a baseball cap, they all look like that. So I looked at other people online like Marty Robbins. I was looking at, Marty Robbins and the outfits that they were wearing. And even you look at Dolly Parton and many people from that era, they all had these, what do you call the old Western style, flair on their pants and their shirts. So I decided to get some of the old Western style show shirts for stage. I got a Calgary hat, a Stetson hat from out west, felt hats, and I decided to create my own maple leaf. So I got my own maple leaf, painted it red, and I stuck it right on the center of my hat. I'm wearing Canadian boots, from Boulay Boots. So I decided to I got a Canadian hat. I've got Canadian leather boots. I've got nice, clean black jeans. I've got a Canadian buckle belt, that says Canada on it. And even my guitar has a Canadian maple leaf flag on my guitar. So when people see me on stage, well, I don't even have to get in stage. I walk in a room now and people see me enter a room and they say, oh my God, that guy must know what he's doing. So it sets an impression before you even get on stage, because people talk about stage presence. Stage presence is not when you get on stage. Stage presence is when you walk in the door.
That's true. That is absolutely true.
You need to be memorable, and when you come back the next time, they already know what you're going to do. Oh, my God, I'll hear them, oh, that guy's really good. Wait till he gets up next. There's only one problem with wearing an outfit like this, though.
What's that?
When you wear an outfit like that, you've got to bring it on stage. You do that. You definitely bring it on stage, but not only do you bring it on stage, you bring it online, and you bring it on YouTube, and you bring it on other services, because as we celebrate Canada Day virtual, because as you said, dealing with the pandemic and everything, you've been able to put some video and music together that truly represents what this country is all about. Please, can you give us the name of what this is and describe the video that I had a chance to see, which I think is truly incredible? Oh, I'm glad you got a chance to see it because you're one of the only maybe 4 people that have seen it. It's going to be out on Canada Day, which this taping, I think, is going out. But what I did, I worked a year on putting a new song together to celebrate Canadian patriotism, something that would just really... I saw a little video clip from CBC years ago. I think it was in 1978 it came out, and it was "Oh Canada." And it would be played at the beginning of a movie. If it were first movie of the day, we would see this clip of Canada from coast to coast, and everybody stood up and was proud of the country that they lived. And we don't have that kind of song anymore, other than our national anthem. So I looked up and found the Maple Leaf Forever. The Maple Leaf Forever was written by Alexander Muir back in 1867 for Confederation. Now, the song is dated, but it was our unofficial national anthem for about 82 years. But the words, it really went out of style. So I loved the music. I used to march to that tune in the military for years. The Maple Leaf Forever is an amazing marching tune. So I marched to it in the military. So I already loved the melody. So I decided to rewrite the entire song and write about Canada from coast to coast, all the provinces, some of the special features that tourists and Canadians recognize, like the CN Tower or like Niagara Falls, or it's just, Canada's an amazing country, and I've had an opportunity to see maybe 75% of it, and my goal was to see the rest.
Bound hand in hand for this great land, we stand on guard together from coast to coast. Oh, Canada, the maple leaf forever.
But you've also did a salute too to the folks who fly in the sky also.
Yes, I've got the military included in there because it's part of our country. I mean, we have sailors, airmen, men in the every part of the military and infantry, and it's Canadians. We're in a very safe country. I know we have a strong neighbor to the south, but Canadian military is respected around the world, and because I served in it, and that's part of the pride of being in Canada is our safety. I wanted to honor the airmen and the naval, and so I've got quite a bit of military in this new video.
And also, you show homage to Indigenous people too in this too, which I think is very, very important.
Well, I thought it was critical. The problem with the Maple Leaf Forever, the original, is it paid no comment to Quebecers. And it was never written in a French language. And I do speak 3 languages, German, French, and English. And I decided we really have to recognize every province, including Quebec and including our natives that, we're in their country. But again, we're a melting pot, and now it's all our country. And I thought it very important that we recognize, as many cultures as I could put in the video. I tried my best.
And I think what pulls it off, and again, I don't want to give too much away for folks. I want you all to see this, is because there are several dance sequences going on, and there's one that is just massive that I think, we'll look at that, you look at Canada.
Yeah. It's we had a lot of people participate in this production, and everybody was Canadian, by the way. All the musicians that are on my album are Canadian. The engineer, the producers, the singers, and even all the film footage of Canada is all Canadian. And I want people to really get a love for the country out of this when they see it.
No, you just mentioned an album. What's the album called, and what other songs are on this?
Well, it's self-titled, The Maple Leaf Forever, and it's 12 new songs. This is my 3rd album in 18 months. I've really been putting a lot of effort in producing music because I started later. I thought, well, let's get at it. But this new album, it's a mix. I've got songs from the 50s, the 60s, 70s, 2000, and 2020. I don't know what style of music that I really sang until someone told me, well, Doug, you're adult contemporary. Because I've got Pick Me Up on Your Way Down by Charlie Walker. I've got Leaving on a Jet Plane by John Denver. We've got Four Strong Winds by Ian Tyson. It Never Rains in Southern California by Albert Hammond. I've got Young Love by Sonny James. There's a song back from '56.
Wow.
Song for the Myra, so that's for the folks down east. Alistair McGilvery did that one, but I've done a really nice version. I've got another one from Let Children Pick the Flowers from Webb Pierce. And I redid Scarlet Ribbons. It's from 1959, but we've got a whole new feel to Scarlet Ribbons. And then I've got 2 new songs of my own, and Line Dancin' Mama, that is a really upbeat song that is like a tailgate party. Very different, but I love writing music, so that's a new one for me. And one I wrote for my daughter, which is called Please Daddy Fix. And I won't give too much away, but when people hear Please Daddy Fix, it's about someone, a love for one's daughter and how life is very short. But it's a very nice song. And the last song that I did, the reason that I found you is because of Gordon Lightfoot. And I'm redoing one of Gordon's songs. That's What You Get for Loving Me.
Oh, classic. I love that.
and Gord doesn't do it anymore. And a lot of people, like, Gord's an amazing writer. You know, that song has been done by Elvis Presley, Waylon Jennings, Johnny Cash, Peter, Paul, and Mary, and now the Canadian Troubadour is going to do it. and we did it with a Bakersfield shuffle. It's a really different feel for the song.
That's incredible. I cannot wait to hear this. I can't wait to hear the whole album. So how do we get this album? And also, as you mentioned, too, the video debuts as we speak for Canada Day. Where do we see the video? Where do we get this album? And also, how do we get in touch with you through website and social media?
Well, I'm very lucky that I'm very I'm very good at computer programming and computer and social networking. I'm everywhere. If they search for Canadian Troubadour, they will find me on Facebook. They'll find me on Instagram. I'm also on Twitter. But I also have my own webpage, so CanadianTroubadour.com. And I'm going to have, because all of the streaming services are behind due to COVID, I mean, their staff are short. All these streaming services are weeks and weeks behind. Some of them are even 2 months behind. So some of the music is going to be very slow getting to the streaming partners because I'm very big on Spotify. My first album in just over a year did over 100,000 streams. And then I did a Christmas, and now this one coming out. So Spotify is going to be late getting out. I think they're delayed about 3 weeks. And I was hoping to have everything land on Canada Day, but it will be on my website. I'm going to release the entire album on CanadianTroubadour.com. But the video is coming out on YouTube, and I actually have a premiere release. Midnight on June the 30th, the video will be available to the world. So it's a world premiere coming out.
What a way to celebrate Canada Day, especially with the way the world is today. Look, before we go, is there anything that you want to say to Canada, your fans, everybody who's listening to this? Because they said right now with COVID going on, really tough on people, racism up in front right now in discussions, and, you know, there's some people out there just bewildered in what's going on, and you kept such a good enthusiasm throughout all this. Is there anything you'd say to us that, you know, 2020 has been tough. Let's just hope from Canada Day on, you know, it'll get better. What can you say to everybody out there?
Well, I'm really glad you asked this question because I was hoping you might ask it because I was in the military for 20 years. And one feeling that is very hard to describe to people from a soldier is this feeling of not knowing what's going on. When we go in deployment for 6 months or a year, I'm a Gulf War veteran. When we go to war, we're leaving our families behind. We don't know if we're coming home. There's this fear of, you know, is there an attack coming? Is there this, you know, is there disease? You know, the feeling that people are getting in Canada right now are many of the same feelings that we get when we're away from our families in war or on deployment. And it's a terrible feeling. And what happens is people's emotions get going. They get angry. They get frustrated. They get, you'll see right now, it's unfortunate, but domestic violence has gone up. You know, people take their frustrations out at home or at work, or maybe they're not working and they've got financial problems. We have to really stop and think of the other partner or the other children. They're going through those same feelings too. So we have to be you have to be very mindful to think of how lucky of the things we do have in Canada. You know, we're lucky to have clean water, but other countries don't even have clean water. I've gone to places where we couldn't even drink the water. So we have to stop for a minute and say, my gosh, look what we've got. We've got internet. We still have food on the table, or the government's reaching out and trying to do the best they can. And if you see neighbors, I see a lot of good stuff going on. People helping neighbors, people helping other communities, contributing to the food bank. I think if you stop for a minute and look around at all the things we do have, we're pretty darn lucky to be Canadian.
Amen to that, my friend. Amen.
Yeah.
One more time, where do we go? Website, everywhere else to go to follow you? And
oh my gosh, if they search out Canadian Troubadour, you will find me. But if you want to, my website, CanadianTroubadour.com. But I'm on every social media platform. if they remember Doug Smith or Canadian Troubadour, you will find me.